Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochappan. A laddu is a laddu. Well, not exactly, especially if it's a Tirumala Laddu. Before we get into this story, I request you to subscribe our channel, like, and of course, click the bell icon for notifications. We all know what happened at Tirumala. We all go there for darshan. Now let's come back to what happened with the Tirumala Laddu. It is a very precious thing for all of us. We all know this. The prasadam at Tirumala is something very, very special for every devotee who looks forward to it, either when they have visited Tirumala personally, stood in the line and got that prasadam, or they sought blessings from there on, or from someone who has visited the hill shrine and wants to give the prasadam to you. The aroma that wafts from the laddu is something that cannot be explained. It has to be felt. It has to be tasted. It goes beyond devotion. But now all that is under a cloud. The Srivari Laddu, as we know it, is the most venerated Mahaprasadam offered to the devotees who are visiting Tirumala. Made from Bengal gram, clarified butter or cow ghee, sugar, cashew nuts, raisins, and of course almonds. All these are a part of what goes into making the Tirumala Laddu. All laddus are cooked within the temple kitchen called Podu, the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, which manages not just the temple but also the Tirumala town. Opened another bundi pottu next to the main entrance, main temple complex a few years ago, to cater to the additional demand that was coming in from a huge number of devotees who turn up for darshan every day. In fact, over 600 Vaishnavite Brahmins work in these kitchens round the clock to make these laddus. And we are not talking small numbers. An 85,000 litre ghee tank has been set up very close to the main temple complex to collect the ghee that comes from the vendors. The practice of offering laddus to Lord Venkateshwara Swami at Tirumala began long time back, way back in 1715, to be precise, on 2nd of August 1715. The spiritual prominence of the laddu increased over the years, and the Tirumala Laddu has acquired an iconic status. The Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam obtained a patent for the Tirumala Laddus, or Tirupati Laddus as we can call them, under the foodstuff category of geographical indication, or what we call the GI tag. In fact, 4 different types of laddus are made at Tirumala. Let's look at each one of them. The small or free laddu of 25 grams are offered to devotees as prasadam after the darshan of Lord Venkateshwara Swami. And in fact, this is one thing that is there for every devotee, but there is something beyond it. There is a praktam. This laddu weighs between 150 to 170 grams and is sold at 50 rupees to devotees who stand in a line to buy it. Then of course there is the Kalyanotsavam Laddu, the biggest laddu, which weighs about 700 grams and is offered free to select Arjita Sevas, devotees who come for these Arjita Sevas, who partake in it. It is also sold at the counter sometimes to devotees at 250 rupees per laddu. The 4th one is called the Asthana Laddu. This is only for internal distribution and not for sale. So we've seen how 4 different types of laddus are offered to the devotees who come to worship Lord Venkateshwara Swami in Tirumala. In fact, 3.5 lakh laddus are prepared and distributed to devotees in Tirumala every day. Huge numbers, 3.5 lakh laddus. The Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam also prepares 7,000 Kalyanotsavam laddus apart from this every day. Numbers are outstanding, numbers are astounding. A total of 12 to 13 crore laddus are sold by Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam annually. The TTD earns more than 500 crore through the sale of laddus. 500 crores. Ghee is the most important raw material as it impacts the overall quality, taste and texture, and of course the shelf life for the laddus. And that is why TTD takes absolute precaution in ensuring that they get the best ghee, that is a cow ghee. TTD in fact procures the cow ghee with Agmark special grants at the rate of around 320 to 400 rupees, sometimes to 415 rupees a litre. Now you might wonder why you don't get that kind of cost when you go and buy ghee from a nearby shop. Well, that is because it's a game of volumes. TTD, the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, consumes 16,000 kilos of ghee, cow ghee, every day to make 3.5 lakh laddus every day. The TTD usually calls for a 6-month tenders, that is twice a year. And the quantity that the vendor is supposed to sell, hold your breath, around 36 lakh tons or 5 to 6 lakh tons per month. The TTD spends close to 250 crore annually to procure ghee for this purpose. For a long time at Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam's Tirumala temple, Nandini ghee made by the Karnataka Milk Marketing Federation used to supply the ghee to TTD. A year ago, KMFF had to increase the amount and is paying more to procure milk from various cooperatives and farmers within Karnataka. That spiked up the cost of ghee, and KMFF found themselves outpriced from the TTD bid. They decided not to participate in this bids. The TTD in fact floated an e-tender, as it's called, on March the 12th, 2024. Now I'm taking to the present controversy which happened. So the tender was floated, the e-tender was floated on March 12, 2024. AR Dairy from Dundigal was selected and the tender was finalized on May the 5th. Go through the date line, May the 5th, for 319.80 rupees through reverse tendering process. This is exactly when the elections were going on, the Lok Sabha elections were going on. And YS Jagan was still the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. So the TTD found that it had to deal with a vendor called AR Dairy from Dundigal, Tamil Nadu. Not much was known about this dairy. In fact, it claims to produce milk and milk products. The funny part is this dairy once made liquid oxygen. No one knows how they got into milk production and how they could supply this kind of quantity to TTD, which is huge. In Tamil Nadu, this particular dairy, AR Dairy, sells their milk under the brand name Raj Milk. And the firm started supplying from June 12, 2024, according to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. May, the tender was finalized. June, they started supplying. But what did they supply is the question. The company, which is based in Dundigal, claims that they supplied only milk to TTD in the months of June and July. They did not supply ghee. This is according to the company. Something that even TTD has acknowledged. They added that anytime the milk was sent to the temple body, TTD, reports were provided from accredited labs to the TTD. Now the question is, when did this particular AR Dairy start supplying ghee to TTD? That's a question we have. TTD says 2 tankers, one on 6th of July 2024 and 2 tankers on 15th of July 2024 were found to be of poor quality during the physical verification, and it was suspected to be adulterated on testing for aroma and taste. This is a process called sensory testing, and actually it is, the people are trained for it, some people in various labs. They can test, they can smell the ghee and say whether it's actually adulterated or not, like the way our grandmothers used to do it. Basic way of testing ghee. Accordingly, 4 samples were sent to the NDDB lab in Anand in Gujarat for confidentiality, for testing, for quality as per the FSSAI specifications. The reports from NDDB was received on 16th of July 2024 and 23rd of July 2024. The TTD report states that the NDDB report concluded that all the samples that were sent to them have vegetable and animal-based fat adulterants, including lard. Now, this is the NDDB report, which is a very, very kind of reliable lab of the Government of India, of course, a part of the National Dairy Development Board. It concluded that samples have vegetable and animal-based fat adulterants, including lard, and this is what the report said. The adulterated cow ghee tankers that was being supplied to the TTD by the AR Dairy were sent back by the TTD. They said, we don't want them because they are adulterated. This is happening in July, by the way. We are in September now. So basically, August, September, 2 months or rather 3 months took place in between all that. So accordingly, a show cause notice was issued to AR Dairy Private Limited on 22nd July, 23rd July, and of course 27th July 2024. And the report, this is said in the report submitted by the TTD Executive Officer Shyamala Rao to the Government of Andhra Pradesh. In total, 14 samples were tested and rejected in 2022 based on parameters other than adulteration. Okay, that time possibly it was Nandini who was supplying. So there was also rejections at that time, but that has nothing to do with adulteration. Something else was a problem there. As for the tender conditions, facility outside an NABL accredited lab could have been utilized for adulteration testing, but it was never done. The suppliers took advantage of this poor quality control system at Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, including lack of testing equipment and adulteration. Despite the huge quantity of milk and ghee they were buying, TTD did not have the right kind of labs for it. TTD did not even send the ghee samples to outside labs for testing. Why they didn't do it? Well, you can guess why it was not done. When the government starts running temples, this is what happens. When politicians start sitting on temple boards, this is what happens. As a result, small vendors like AR Dairy started quoting very low unviable rates, which are between 320 per kilo and 411 rupees per kilo. We know it's a common knowledge that no one can supply pure ghee at these rates. Something was being done to keep that cost low. Now TTD has decided to set up a state-of-the-art testing facility at Tirumala. Soon, the National Dairy Development Board has offered to set up a testing facility, and by donating the equipment worth about 75 lakh rupees to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Now this issue must have cooled down for the present. But the question is, the bigger question is, what about the quality of milk and ghee and other ingredients supplied to other temples in India, especially down south? Temples like Guruvayur and Shabarimala. Shabarimala especially, huge rush at that time during the Mandala Kalam. Who does the quality control testing in our temples, most of which are controlled by the government and the ruling party members who sit on the board of this? This is a question that we need to ask. A prasadam goes beyond just faith. It's about the sanctity of the offering and the health of the devotees. That's the most important thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to ask ourselves this question. And definitely we need answers. It is not just about Tirumala Laddu. It's beyond that. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.